whoop! I hit that too early. My bad.
I'm just dancing over here. It's fine.
It's all good. Well, I guess in that case, hello everybody. My name is Tim Daniel, and welcome to a later version of Late Night Reds this week on the Riverfront. Uh, Sorry about some of the family stuff coming up, but we're back. We're doing our thing this week, and I'm excited to be joined for the first time on Late Night Reds by my compadre, Chad's brother from the same mother,
That's right.
Nate Dotson. How are you, buddy?
Tim, I am fantastic, man. Now, first off, thank you for having me. Can't believe it's taking me this long to get on this episode. But there's no better way to shake off those Monday cobwebs, the Monday blues, than getting to hang out and talk some baseball with you, brother. So I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you, man. And we have a really, really fun show today. There's a lot of things I really want to get into. And Nate, I really think we got some big hot topic buttons going around the Reds community we got to get to as well. I am really worried that I know it's Monday night. We're not on our normal Sunday nights, but Pat is not in the chat yet.
Ooh.
So we need to probably get someone send a warning to make sure Pat's okay.
Listen,
Because
if
Pat's
Pat
not
Magooch
here.
isn't here, then I'm just going to step out. You text me
Yeah,
or something when he comes in.
me too. Me too. Um, But let's go ahead and get to it. Obviously, the Reds are off today, so it kind of worked out to have the show today. So let's talk a little bit about what happened last week. Not a great week, wins and losses wise, but a few things that did kind of jump out. So we've got the you lose 2 out of 3 to the Padres. You do get a really fun extra innings win with the Jonathan India game-winning hit. You did get another Nick Senzel homer, and maybe Luis Cessa's final start, which we'll get to in this White Sox series, where Friday was a really good game. They lost, but I thought it was a really fun matchup. Both teams kind of with like their up and coming talent and stars kind of coming through. I don't know about you, Nate, but I truly love Tim Anderson. I'm not a White Sox guy by any means, but I really love watching Tim Anderson play. And so that was kind of fun to see him play this weekend. Saturday was a lot of fun. Nice win. India, 3 for 3, 2 stolen bases. And then yesterday wasn't very good as Graham Ashcraft got the early hook, which we're not hitting the panic button by any means. But I do want to kind of talk about a few things from last week. Let's go to Thursday because you and Carlos had the show and you guys talked about this push that Nick Senzel has had. And I know he didn't have a great weekend at the plate, but I think overall, you have to be happy with his overall play. He wasn't as hot at the plate this week as he was the week before, but you did see him get much more comfortable at third base and make some really great plays. That play he made where he dives to the bag side of third, I mean the foul side of third, and throws out the runner at first, and Spencer Steer makes that stretch was unbelievable. So obviously Green gets hit, but that's homers. He throws 104, someone that gets a hold of it at GABP, chances are it's going to be in the stands. Nick Lodolo kind of had a struggling start. I'm not going to press the panic button there either. And then Graham Ashcraft had his first bad outing of the year. So I think this kind of comes to, and I listened to the postgame show yesterday on WLW Date, and the thing they said is like, they're going to have days like this, and it's just going to be what it is with their young. But I think at that same point, you can say, look, they're 14-20 through 34 games, probably better than a lot of us thought they'd be through 34 games. And you are starting to see who does and doesn't belong as they're trying to build their game plan. So I think through 34 games, I'm really happy. Yes, there have been some really frustrating losses, but there's also been some really bright spots. And we've talked about that throughout the season. So what do you kind of take away from last week that jumps out the most to you with these games with San Diego and the White Sox?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great as far of the product on the field, and that week and a half of Nick Senzel being back was a lot of fun. Um, like you alluded to, he struggled. He kind of struggled at the plate this past week, other than a home run on Monday. But you said that there's been some frustrating losses, and that can mean a few different things. I have been really frustrated by not the close one-run losses. I've been more
Same.
frustrated with the fact that this team is just there are so many holes on the roster that I feel like could have easily been filled by veterans on 1-year deals, just to give this team a chance to compete 5 nights out of 5. They're 14-20. If you bring in a couple vets there for those fourth and fifth spots in the rotation, and you have the best position players on the field, there's no reason to think this team couldn't be flirting with 500. And you see the difference in, expectations from the guys on the field, like we saw against the Padres and their fans in the stadium, just going nuts, even though that team's not setting the world on fire.
Right.
It just makes you jealous as a Reds fan. I guess that's it.
It does. And look, I was okay with the game plan. I didn't necessarily love the idea of starters 4 and 5, which is definitely something we'll talk about. But there are some things where, yeah, I understand what you're saying about veteran guys. Like, you look at Andrew McCutchen right now. I understand Pittsburgh was probably going to win that argument against Cincinnati for the sake of his history. But would Andrew McCutchen look good on this team right now? I think he would. That's not to say I dislike Will Myers. I'm glad he's back in the lineup. I shockingly really liked Henry Ramos. He's just, you said it a couple weeks ago, he just has a big league swing, and you're starting to see a little bit more of that. But yeah, it's it's just the not knowing who to go to. And look, all this whole offseason, we're like, well, this bullpen's the bullpen, and they've been good for the most part this year. They've been good. Ian Gibaut got 2 innings on Saturday in a game they won and was really, really good.
Listen, and I don't want to be hyperbolic here at all, but is Lucas Sims the greatest pitcher in the history of baseball?
I'm
the
so
guy
happy.
Has been nasty.
I'm so happy to see him regain form. I know Carlos had talked a lot about, he wondered if he was it was coincidental that the time frame when he started to struggle and before the injuries was around the spider tack, cancellation through the league. And so that was something where people were questioning it. And now it's nope, he's just a really good pitcher that was battling injury, and that's great. So Lucas Sims has been good.
0 ERA. He's given up 0 runs.
Yes, absolutely. And then this is kind of the part where, Alexis Diaz looks at times better than he did his rookie year. And that's promising. I do think it's silly that we do so much to kind of say maybe they should move him. Look, I'm not anti-moving Alexis Diaz, but I want it to be for something that makes sense before we go that route.
Yeah. I guess it all comes down to, when do you expect to contend next? Because if the plan is to try to go for at least something next year, then having a healthy Lucas Sims and Alexis Diaz in the back end of your bullpen is the difference between, fizzling out the middle of September and fighting for a playoff spot all year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree. So that's kind of wrap up for last week. We're going to be talking about that through the year.
Can I say one more thing or 2 more things? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
One, we would be remiss not to mention the TJ Friedl game.
Yeah, absolutely.
My guy, I don't remember which game that was, but it was a game 2 against the White Sox. Home run, triple, and robs a home run. That was pretty special, and you can't complain about what TJ Friedl's been doing out there. And the only other thing I wanted to touch on was, and we kind of talked about it in the last episode, the one that you were on a couple weeks ago. We're not talking enough about what Hunter Green has been doing. I
agree.
He is so young. He's leading the team in ERA, which, maybe not the craziest thing in the world, but he's got a 1.32 ERA plus, 3.74 ERA, 2.97 FIP.
Pretty solid.
The guy has been unbelievable considering his age. So I just always want to throw out there, hey, you guys, if you think Hunter Green should go to the bullpen, get back on Twitter or Facebook and leave me alone, because the guy has been nails.
Yeah, I saw today Lance talked about this where, and I think he brought up, I don't always agree with Lance. I'm not anti-Lance like a lot of people are. I actually really like him. But one of the things he kind of said that kind of made a lot of sense to me today was he talked about we're so impatient with Hunter Green. We're like, well, okay, where's that third pitch? Where's this? Why isn't he doing this? Why is he struggling in this situation? And it's this is a guy who missed the whole year with Tommy John. This is a guy who didn't pitch in college. This is a guy who had the COVID season. So really has pitched professionally, and all in all, 4 years, counting his 2 in the big leagues, in general consensus, maybe 5 at the most. So yeah, what he is right now, I'm very pleased with. And I think we're only going to see him get better, and I think the Reds feel that way too. And that's why they gave him that extension to go through his arbitration. So they're not battling this situation in 5 years of like, oh man, are the Dodgers going to come sweep him from us, which is still possible. It's still very possible, but they got their foot in the door. And I agree with you. Like I talked about Nick Lodolo, and I know a lot of people are bringing stuff up. And I listened to David talk about, his struggles. And a lot of things he just kind of talked about was like pitch location. He's like, look, Nick Lodolo has always been really good with pitch location his whole time in the pros. He's like, he's going to find that again. It's going to happen. So, and I believe in Nick Lodolo. I think Nick Lodolo has the potential to be the best left-handed pitcher in baseball. I really, really feel like that's a possibility for him. So, and you're very high on Graham Ashcraft. I'm very high on Graham Ashcraft, and we're going to talk about some of the other guys. I see a lot of the comments right now are about some of the the prospects, and we're definitely going to get to that. That's the big theme of this week's episode. But I did really want to get to something that I've kind of been noticing too in Reds Land, Nate, and I think really needs to be touched on. And I think it's with Jonathan India, who, mind you, is hitting the ball very well right now, has played really well, is already tied for the franchise lead in leadoff home runs and career-wise, not just a one-season thing, with some Barry Larkin guy. I guess he was pretty good.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, and what I'm kind of noticing here about Jonathan India is no one's just like, everyone's finding a way to say like, yeah, he hits the ball really well, but he's not a good defender. But he's doing this. And it's like, I think we're at a point now with guys where we can accept who they are. And like every player has I should say every player has a flaw. Barry Bonds didn't have a flaw. But I like we can all kind of point out great players and things that they don't do well. And I think with Jonathan India, I think we kind of just need to be like, look, we understand he's not going to win a Gold Glove at second base. It's likely not going to happen. But as a leadoff hitter, he's hitting above 300, which I'm not a batting average guy, but you still have to acknowledge that he gets on base. He's hitting homers. He's moving people over. He's getting big time hits. And, we all kind of laughed at, the third year guy says he's going to be the leader. Certainly feels like a leader to me on this team. So I think we should really stop this whole like, but he can't play second base thing. And maybe we should move to the outfield thing and let him rake because he's raking. Let's enjoy it.
Man, I could not agree more. I'm glad you just brought this up. He has been bad defensively at second base. I think that is completely fair to say. He's not been below average. He's been bad. Now, he's an athletic guy. I believe he can improve, and maybe he will. I mean, he was banged up all last year. I don't know how many extra reps he was getting, and I don't know if he was calling over Ron Washington when they played the Braves to get some grounders in, but he could improve there. In the meantime, my guy is flirting with a 3-4-5 slash line. You don't have to be a batting average guy to know that 300 plus batting average, 400 plus on base percentage, and a 500 plus slugging percentage makes you really good at baseball.
7 stolen bases already.
He is just a few points away. I mean, he's got one Baseball Reference win above replacement this season already, and that's with being bad defensively. I know these are all flawed stats, but yeah, man. In a perfect world, you're sailing up the middle. You've got a great defensive second baseman, shortstop, and center fielder. You can live with the second baseman being a weak link defensively if he's putting up numbers the way that Jonathan India has been so far. So,
yeah,
couldn't agree more.
Like I'm not saying he's this player, so pump the brakes before someone says like I'm crazy for this comparison, especially Carlos, because I don't want Carlos mad at me. But like we all love watching Fernando Tatis Jr. play baseball. We all think he is the best of the best. That dude had a lot of errors at shortstop, like a lot. But he raked. I don't think Padres fans were pissed off that he was getting 13, 14 errors when he's hitting 26, 27 home runs. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying Jonathan India is Fernando Tatis. That is not the comparison I'm making. I'm just saying that there are other players in baseball who have this issues who are very, very good players. The Yankees aren't super stoked by Aaron Judge for his ability to catch a ball in the outfield. They're okay. This guy can hit 60 bombs. And guess what? They come to Cincinnati in a couple weeks. He's probably going to hit a couple bombs that weekend in GABP. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm not even going to lie. It's at 11:30 Peacock game on that Sunday, so that'll be neat.
Ooh,
I like this broadcast actually way more than I like the Apple TV broadcast. Holy
oh my
moly!
goodness.
Yeah, not good, not good. Great idea, not good execution.
Yeah, I mean, give it time; it'll probably be the best out there in a year or two. But right now, yeah, the play-by-play is just rough.
Yeah. So
But I'm
James,
also glad that you did throw out the hot take that Jonathan India is better than Fernando Tatis Jr. I heard you say that.
yeah, I'm gonna get someone so mad at me. Yeah, James, he has become the clubhouse leader. I agree, and I think with Tyler Stevenson, a lot of people are really upset with him and his ups and downs over this year. You and I have both in agreement. Like we feel like he's going to be fine. He's a massive human being, so the power's going to come, and we saw it yesterday. He hit a homer yesterday. Um, I'm not worried about Tyler Stevenson. I'm also not the kind of guy who's like, well, if you play catcher, you should be hitting home runs. I'm like, if you're in the lineup and you can home runs, great. You know, so I'm completely cool with like
Yeah.
whatever he's doing to help the team win.
Also,
And
like, look around the league right now. There are some really good baseball players with rough
yeah,
stats a month into
yeah.
the season. Let's pump the brakes.
My guy Julio Rodriguez has not set the world on fire yet, but guess what? I'm tuning into every Mariners game I possibly can to watch
He's
Julio Rodriguez.
really good at baseball. The
Yeah,
only thing
yeah.
that's been concerning me with Tyler is something that I had been noticing but didn't know how to look it up. And shouts to our guy Matt Wilkes over at Reds Content Plus.
He was on the show
But
last week.
yeah, he taught me how to use Baseball Savant over
Oh
Twitter. So
yeah, it's a
Matt's
fun
the
site.
man. Um, it just had seemed like Tyler Stevenson had been taking third strikes down the middle all season long. There's more called third strikes than I can remember. So I got Matt helped me look up one stat, and then he put another one on Twitter. He's leading at least the NL, not the majors, in fastballs taken down the middle with two strikes. He's
Interesting.
also third in the league, I think, in all of major leagues in backwards Ks. So that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. He hasn't looked as natural and comfortable as I usually associate with Tyler Stevenson, but like you're saying, I have nothing but complete faith that he's going to be back to what we expect real soon.
Yeah, I don't think he's the best defensive catcher by any means, but again, if he's going to hit the ball really hard and it's going to get dropped in the outfield somewhere, I can live with that. Yeah, I would love to see them be fundamentally really good defensively, but I'm not freaking out about it. Um, that 2012 team was so good defensively. It was one of the big conversations Drew and I had when he was on the show. Just like, you could probably make the case for 3 or 4 guys in that team to win a Gold Glove. Um, I did see somewhere, I think they're like, someone in the comments can correct me on this if I'm way off, but I thought I saw somewhere that the Reds outfield right now is 4th in the majors in defensive runs saved. So that was shocking.
Yeah, the infield was towards the bottom, but the outfield was
Yeah.
however they make that metric work, apparently really good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this has kind of been the conversation of conversations that you're hearing go across the Reds fan base. And I want to get to it, and I'm going to bring this up here really quick. And it's the theme of this week's episode, and this might end up being a very lengthy conversation. It might just be like a simple yes or no. And the question is, should we let the kids play? And if you're a Reds fan, you're obviously watching far more games in minor league baseball than you have in the years past because of guys like Matt McLain, of guys like Christian Encarnacion Strand, of guys like Noelvi Marte, of guys obviously like Ellie De La Cruz. And, now you're starting to see some pitchers come up. Andrew Abbott has looked pretty darn good in AAA Louisville so far. Is he going to be the guy that starts on Saturday if Luis Cessa's not starting? I don't know. I'm not against it, but that would be a conversation we have. And so, Nate, you said earlier in the show, one of the things you wanted to see as far as this team competing was, you would like to see some veterans on lower contracts to kind of come in and play this team. And, I see that point. I really do, and I'm not against it. But I also like the idea of letting all these young dudes come up and take their shots. And Carrick Melvin, who I talked to quite a bit in the Reds Farm System group on Facebook. It's a great Facebook group if anyone wants to keep up with what's going on in the minor leagues. I don't ever advertise anything on Facebook, and I advertise this because it's a lot of great insight. We talk a lot, and he gives me a lot of really good insight of what's going on in the minors. But I just want to kind of get some conversation going here because, obviously at first base, particularly all the guys that played first base for this team this year, the Spencer Steers, the Tyler Stevensons, the Jason Vosslers, and the Will Myers. Christian Encarnacion Strand is probably a better defensive player than those guys and is hitting tanks. Like that what he hit last week in that 3 home run game where the center fielder didn't even move. Just was like, all right, I'm not even gonna creak my neck to look at it. You're seeing a lot of that. Matt McLain has obviously just been tearing the roof off. Had another cycle. I think he hit a home run yesterday. I know Ellie hit a home run yesterday that looked like it was just gonna be a line drive and then ended up out of the park. But where are you on the let the kids play conversation at this point?
I bought up all of the real estate on Let the Kids Play Island. Let's not confuse and mistake what I was trying to say about those veterans. I wanted Christian Encarnacion Strand. If he hadn't hurt his back, I would have wanted him to make the open day roster.
Me too.
I do love leaving Ellie down for a little bit. He needs to do a little bit more, in my opinion, take a few more walks and just stay hot the way he has for the last 10 games. Matt McLain definitely should have started in AAA. Definitely should have been up about 2 weeks later. The reason I wanted some vets is because what we've been seeing from the pitching depth down in Louisville.
Mm.
Brandon Williamson, who I still have high hopes for, has been brutal. Just brutal. Levi Stout, another solid rotational depth piece kind of guy, has not been good so far. So when I'm saying bringing in veterans, I didn't mean bringing in a whole bunch of Will Myers. We got a Will Myers. But if we got our Will Myers, we get a healthy Joey Votto, and then we give the likes of Matt McLain, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and, mind you, my boy TJ Hopkins, who's just been crushing all year long. Give them the at-bats. Give them the innings out in the field. Because if we want to compete next season, then yes, we need to get those guys some seasoning now. Let them take their licks so they'll be ready to hit the ground running in 2024. But I would like to have seen some legit major league players filling out the back end of the rotation. And as soon as the kids were ready, Andrew Abbott's my guy. Let's hope he comes up for his next start. I love it. I'm here for it. But we knew those guys weren't going to be there at the beginning of the year. We didn't bring anybody to hold those spots over. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I would love to see so one of the guys that Carrick has been telling me watches at bats. You can see how much better he looks already. Is Chucky Robinson. So Chucky Robinson, enough people has been crushing the ball in Louisville, just destroying.
I have not admittedly been watching a ton of Louisville Bats games, but Chucky is just raking right now.
Yeah, just completely he was up for a little bit with the big league club last year. I think that was just a case of it was a bad baseball team and nothing was going right for them. So he didn't look his best, but yeah, you can see the adjustments he made in his swing and you can see everything kind of going there. I do really think that Matt McLain is obviously ready. I don't think there's any hiding it. And I'm wondering what point is he going to force their hand? And what I mean by that is, at some point you got to call the guy up. Jay Bruce was this way. Jay Bruce was tearing up the minor leagues. At some point it was we don't have a choice. He has to be on the big league roster. And I really think that we're getting to that point with Matt McLain. I would not be shocked if he's up in the Miami series. I really wouldn't, because
I think we're past the point, right? I mean, the point that happened a week ago. But after his hit the cycle game, he's a player of the week last week. I mean, what else does the guy have to do? And it's not like we've got so much all-stars that are going to block him from getting any playing time.
Right. I'm not anti Kevin Newman, but in a game where they have a left-hander, with a right-hander pitching, and Kevin Newman's DHing, I'll take Matt McLain.
Yeah, I'm not anti-Kevin Newman as a human. I'm anti-Kevin Newman getting at bats for this team that should be going to people that are potentially a part of the future.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Strand, obviously, I think what he's doing right now, I definitely would have loved to see him make the big league roster with the spring training he had. I know, obviously, he's been injured a little bit. Carrick kind of pointed that out. kind of talked about when another couple weeks for him with how long he's just getting at bats. Um, you know, I'm okay. Like we're kind of all in agreement. So, Carrick kind of said in there, um, in the Ellie De La Cruz situation. So I'm completely fine if it is like August for him, and because when he's here, it's going to be fun. And if that gives us something to look forward to at the end of the summer, I'm totally cool with that. Um, I do love Andrew Abbott. I'm totally cool if he starts Saturday in Miami in a big ballpark for his first big league start. I really do not want another Luis Sessa start. And I'm not anti Luis Sessa, but I think, he pitched out of the bullpen yesterday in that game. Maybe that was just because it's like you're not pitching until Saturday. Um, but yeah, I would love to see Andrew Abbott come up and see what he does there as well. But, I do think we're at that point. And that's not to say, I'll kind of let some people behind the curtain here. Carlos is in the chat now. Uh, good brother, Carlos Guevara. The Riverfront group text is something where we kind of talk a lot about ideas and things like that. And we're seeing a lot of people who are just going ahead and counting out Joey Votto. And I want to see Christian Encarnacion Strand in the big league club, but I also want to see Joey Votto in the big league club, and I want to see him get his flowers, and I think he deserves that. And we can go through this 10 times a week, but this public dismissal of Joey Votto because of the young guys is silly to me. I think Joey Votto's earned the right to say, "I'll be up when I'm ready to be up," and I think that matters a lot, and it should matter because of everything he's done, everything he's stuck through with the seasons his franchise has had in his career. How many of his teammates he's seen come and go through the clubhouse? I think we can be okay with Joey Votto, but to say like Joey Votto is going to hinder Christian Encarnacion Strand getting at bats is very silly to me.
Yeah, miss me with that nonsense. This guy's a Hall of Famer. He is the best player for an entire multiple generations of Reds fans. He has done nothing but keep his head down and work his butt off while the front office did nothing to support him and help put winning teams on the field while he was crushing the entire time. So let's let Joey Votto finish out the rest of this year. And then if he wants to stick around, I vote for offering him whatever contract he wants. Give it to him. I mean, the guy deserves it. He can go year to year. Player manager. I don't care. Joey Votto, you said, give him his flowers. Give him all the flowers.
Yeah. Not just a bouquet. We're talking a garden. Give him the garden. The garden in the Reds Hall of Fame, like outside there, like just give him that. I'm all for that.
The Joey Votto Rose Garden.
Yeah, I agree. Carrick did mention September remains rookie eligibility. Reds could use a possible draft pick if he finishes top 3 in rookie of the year voting, being if he calls up Ellie in September. I love that idea. Because Ellie's ceiling is something that's like you don't see often. You've made the case you want to see them go full-fledged like Atlanta Braves Michael Harris. Just go ahead and give him like a contract. And I'm all for that. I think I love when the Braves do stuff like that. And I think more franchises should go to that model. It's not always ideal. I think the Astros have kind of had that bite them in the ass once or twice. But, with what we're seeing from these guys, I think it's worth the chance to kind of take on. I think he definitely deserves that. So, yeah, I think I ain't Carlos. I ain't anti-human Kevin Newman. That's nice. It's a nice little bar you got there, Nate.
I'm a little anti-Kevin Newman. Yeah, I guess we're going to get to a position crunch soon. We've just established that Joey Votto should get exactly however many days at first base as he wants. I understand that might not be what's best for the ball club as far as splitting time between him, first base, DH, wherever. But he gets to do whatever he wants. The front office is obviously not trying to win or compete this season. So let's be interesting. Let's at least make it fun. Get Matt McLain up here. Get all these guys. TJ Hawkins, I'm ready. Yeah, Ellie, leave him down a little bit. I love controlling him as long as possible, but also the guy signed for $65,000.
Yeah.
Let's just throw a few million at him right now, see how much it takes to get generational wealth. I don't know. It's just I can't get over being somewhat frustrated that the team is as fun as it is, and they're still not doing anything. this team has less power than the Rockford Peaches, and they've got guys down in AAA just hitting dongs. Bring them up, make the Reds fun again.
So JP asked, could Chad Dodson beat up all three Nasty Boys at once? And Chad responded, I would destroy the Nasty Boys.
Chad was the oldest of four boys, so he had three younger brothers. So he has been taking on three Nasty Boys his entire life.
There you go. There you go. And then I like James here. In my ideal situation, Ellie De La Cruz and Joey Votto come up at the same time. I'm all for that. Brian McLean should be up tomorrow. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for him being up right now. I'm all for him. Like, did Louisville get back from Oklahoma yesterday? Okay, cool. He can make the drive up now.
All Matt McLean has done in Louisville this year is
only
117 at bats, a 333 average, 448 on base, 667 slugging for a 1.115 OPS, 9 home runs. Yeah, tomorrow, yesterday, the day before. Get him up.
I live an hour and a half north of Louisville. I'll go pick him up. Bring him to the clubhouse.
There you go, Bob. You can save a few bucks.
Yeah, you don't have to pay me the mileage. You don't have to put in your QuickBooks. Nate works in mortgage. He knows what I'm talking about.
Just don't hide it from the underwriter.
That's right. That's right. All right. So let's talk about this week coming up. So we've got the Mets coming to town for 3. And I'll tell you, dude, Wednesday is going to be really fun. Like, this whole I always make the joke, like in wrestling, how they do the changing of the guard match, like every 10 years, like The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, Rock just versus John Cena, where it's like, that's the guy now. Wednesday feels like it's like the baseball version of that, because you have Justin Verlander going against Hunter Green. Verlander just is now making his second start for this Mets this week because he's been injured for the year. First start, ironically, against the Tigers, and give him a couple of homers, but settled in from there. Like we've already sang the praise of Hunter Green. Chase Petty. Carrick just made Chase Petty makes his first start Wednesday in Dayton, so that's exciting.
Yeah, excited for that guy.
Me too. And then on Thursday, we get, I'm not even going to talk about tomorrow, Max Scherzer against Luke Weaver. Like, Luke Weaver does not deserve much conversation here. No offense to Luke. I'm sure he's a great guy. But I don't know how much you've seen of Kodai Senga, the New York Mets, the starting pitcher. He's really good. Like, really, really good. And you're going to see him and Nick Lodolo. That's going to be a fun matchup, too. That's the 12:35 Thursday game. So really curious to see how those teams match up against each other. And the Mets are a team that spent a ton of money this offseason, have not lived up to it yet. So maybe you're playing them at the right time. There is still that whole Pete Alonso guy. He's all right at baseball. I think he's got a future at this. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun series. I like the Mets as far as like a ball club. Last year they were like my favorite team to watch. That wasn't the Reds, so I'm excited for this series.
Yeah, it's tough that we have to go up against Scherzer, Verlander, and Senga. But they do have to face Luke Weaver, so jokes on
Damn right. Damn right.
They have they've been a lot like the Padres that we're talking about. Just a lot of expectations, a lot of energy. Just it hasn't started clicking for them yet. I think it will. There's so much daggone talent on that ball club, but 17 and 18, they would be 4th in the Central right now.
I'll pull it up real quick because Pete Alonso's slash line is literally ridiculous. I mean, he's only hitting like 235, which whatever. But 11 homers, 29 old ribeye steaks. Actually, he's been kind of 825 OPS. On base is not what I thought it was. I'm lying. Unintentionally lying here on our show.
35 strikeouts. He's got that Adam Dunn slash line going right now.
Yeah, he does. But boy, when he gets a hold of one, it goes a very, very long way.
He's so much fun. Outside of him, though, that whole lineup is Jeff McNeil's doing Jeff McNeil things. He's actually sneakily one of my favorite players to watch. I wish the Reds could have somehow gotten him or somebody like him.
I like him too.
Last season. Brandon Nimmo is on a 2-year streak, playing out of his mind. So I bet this offense is chomping at the bit to come to Cincinnati. And we'll see, man. I feel like it just happened too many times in my life. Every time the Reds face a stud pitcher, it just goes like not just poorly, but so poorly. And
Yeah.
they gotta face three of them in a row. That's a tough draw.
Yeah, I'm really worried that this is going to be the breakout week for Francisco Lindor. Because it's like, hey, you guys were rumored to trade for me for 10 years. This is what you missed out on. And he's just going to hit bombs all 3 games in Cincinnati. I would appreciate if he could not do that. He got his $375,000 million. So, he can move on.
Also, the return of old friend Tommy Pham.
Tommy Pham.
Do you
Hey,
think
set your fantasy football lineup.
do you think they'll play like a tribute video on the
Oh, yeah.
Jumbotron and We Will Remember You by Sarah McLachlan or something going on in the background?
Yeah, it's just a picture of him just slapping Jock Peterson. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get that in so Tommy Pham does not file a lawsuit in the riverfront because I can't afford to pay it. And then we go to Friday. We go to Party in the City where the heat is on all night on the beach till the break of dawn. Old Miami take on the Marlins. Good brother Graham Ashcraft gets the ball on Friday against They Have Not Said. Saturday, according to the probable pitchers, it still shows Luis Cessa pitching. I don't know if I'm at that point yet. Against the defending Cy Young winner, Sandy Alcantara, who has really struggled so far this year. I really hope he's not a one-year wonder because he's a really, really fun player to watch play pitch. And then on Sunday, you've got Luke Weaver, the Almighty, going against Braxton Garrett. Couple things. So on May 13th, it's going to be during this series, 513 day. The Reds tease today the City Edition jerseys. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they break those out or if it's just the unveiling that day. Carlos is a good question. Who will have the best pitching line against the Reds? Scherzer, Verlander, Senga, or Alcantara? That is 4 dudes you don't want to see in a week. That's not fair. All right. That's not fair. So, but holy moly, 4 dudes there. And then JP asked, can Chad Dotson beat up Tommy Pham? Chad, if you're in the chat, please make sure you take that because once again, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, rule number 1 on the riverfront is do not start beef with Tommy Pham.
Yeah. Yeah. Chad and I got through our beef, so we don't have beef anymore with anyone here at the riverfront.
We're squashing beefs.
Yeah, that's what we do here. So are the Reds going to wear those? And also, will the Marlins break out those almighty beautiful Florida Marlins teal jerseys for a game this weekend? They freaking better.
Gosh.
Love them.
Those are my favorite jerseys. Favorite jerseys around right now.
Dude, I just so we talk about this all the time on my basketball show. Like NBA jerseys that you can bring back and will still like be great now. So like I think the Orlando Magic pinstripe jerseys are eternal. I think you can bring them in anytime and they're gonna always like be your Phoenix Suns, their throwback jerseys they wore this year, the purple ones. Like I think that jersey will always have a special place. The Hornets, obviously. I think the Marlins fall in that category. Like the Marlins, the White Sox, just like keep your jerseys forever. Even if you're not the Florida Marlins anymore, you're the Miami Marlins. Just keep those in rotation. And I think we can all agree with that.
Absolutely. I'm so pro pinstripe.
Me too. Plus, like, the Orlando Magic. Greatest jerseys ever in basketball.
That was a fun era for NBA too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Join us next for the late night NBA talk.
Yeah. By the way, shout out Nate for this gift here. If anyone didn't see in the top right corner, Nate gifted me with this brand new sweet Late Night Reds logo. So I just want to say I appreciate you. Could we get in a cool t-shirt soon?
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Short answer, yes.
Oh, baby. So, Nate, I couldn't have you on and have some fun here without this last and final segment of the show where we say, let's make fun of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Let's go.
All right. So those who aren't keeping track, and oh my God, I made that way too small, and I apologize for those with squinty eyes in the bottom right corner. The St. Louis Cardinals are 11-24 right now. They are behind the Reds in the standings by 3.5 games. They are in last place in the Central. The Central stinks, don't get me wrong. but they are in last place in a stink division. There have been reports today that they're going to be like listening to offers for a lot of their players, and apparently Marble is just full on just like throwing Wilson Contreras under the bus. So we can always complain about how things have not gone the Reds' way for nearly 50 years, and that's fine. But boy, the mess that they have over there right now, seeing their fans panic. Look, I make fun of the Pirates all the time, and I love trashing the Pirates in the city of Pittsburgh in general. Cut it off the map. But there's something just very special in the moment when the St. Louis Cardinals absolutely suck, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, on a baseball level, I have no idea what's going on over there. It is a dumpster fire. But nothing brings me more joy than the sorrow of Cardinals fans.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of like, because it's not even big brother, little brother. Like, it's not a rivalry because they don't think of us because the Reds just haven't been good. So watching the quote unquote best fans in baseballs have to just sit there wide eyed, terrified makes me so happy.
So happy. And like the fact that so Nolan Arenado homered yesterday. It was his first time in 22 games.
Been rough.
Yeah, been rough. So their schedule coming up, let me pull this up. I had it up earlier, and of course my phone let me down because I thought I still had it up, has also been nightmarish. So this week coming up, they play the Brewer Crew, who have played pretty well, honestly, for 3. They got 4 with the Dodgers. Oh, I'm a week ahead. Sorry. This is their schedule for the next 3 weeks. Currently playing the Cubbies, so 3 at the Cubs, 3 at the Red Sox, 3 home for the Brewers, 4 home for the Dodgers, come to Cincinnati for 4, go to Cleveland for 3, is how they round out May.
Yikes.
Yowzas! I think right now, if you just had to pick a team, because, I don't believe in the Pirates, and I think their current streak is showing that I was right. They've played very well, but I just think they've played extremely over their heads. I don't see them continuing to do what they did throughout the season. I joked with Chad on an episode earlier this year that I could see the Cubs going 81-81, and like they'd be the one team I'd bet on that. But I think 81-81 might win the Central this year. So, where are you on the Central? Who do you like? Do you think the Pirates are going to win this? Do you think like they can put this together and keep it going? Or do you see like Milwaukee making a run with how well they've played offensively, shockingly?
Yeah, I have been on record saying that I thought what Pittsburgh was doing was for real. I didn't expect that going into the season. I had no inclination they were actually going to be good. I really liked a lot of their offseason moves. They brought in just several proven vets to fill out that roster. Had a lot of young, energetic, kind of reasons for optimism down there. But of course, I didn't think that they would be this good. Now they have lost 7 in a row, I think, as of recording, and maybe the wheels are falling off right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for it. But I thought the Cubs were going to be much improved. Loved everything they did this offseason. Loved what they've done during this season, locking up Ian Happ, known Reds killer Ian Happ. But if I'm a betting man, that money's got to be on Milwaukee right now, right? I mean, just they've kind of been there for the last few years. So if the Cardinals are going to be a dumpster fire, and we hope they are, Milwaukee might as well take it.
Yeah, I haven't checked in a while. Last I saw, good brother Jesse Winker was having a pretty good year. So let me triple check on him. It's been a minute.
I think he tailed off a bit too, but he had a really cute moment where he was wearing that necklace his daughter made him. I thought that was awesome. So
no tanks yet this year for Jesse Winker. No tanks.
That's not good.
But oh my God, listen to this slash line. 246 batting, 361 on base, 290 slugging.
Oh.
Whew.
Yikes.
Not very good. But
Juan Soto hasn't been playing that well either. They're pretty much the same players. So.
Oh, you're just trying to get Carlos all mad at us. I do feel like I let you down in the fact that you're on this week, and we didn't mention Jose Barrero. So let's make sure we talk about Jose Barrero strictly for.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul go, baby.
I feel like you deserve that. So I want to make sure I got that out of there.
I was going to bring him up before we logged off here if you didn't. It's my favorite running segment on the internet right now. So well done.
I love those like the comments reactions when it plays. And when they're like, what the hell is going on? Oh, okay.
It'd be great if somebody just tuned in here, like just randomly found the live YouTube stream or something. The two guys just grooving out the Soul Code commercial. No
Yeah.
big deal. Nothing to
Yeah.
see here.
Still want that t-shirt if we can figure out how to not get a lawsuit from Paramount or any major movie companies or Jose Barrero for that matter.
Yeah, maybe.
Looks like he's kind of coming back to his own defensively. Feel like he's doing okay there. Would like to see, continue to make improvement at the plate. Still think it's possible.
Yeah, he's been he goes in one of two directions. Either the glove is stinking and he's heating up a little bit, or vice versa, I guess. I'm a big Jose Barrero fan, one of his loudest sort of supporters, but it's not been great. And we talked about some people that need to come up and get at bats, and you got to wonder how long his leash is going to be if those guys come up anyway. If not, I think he should be getting every single inning.
Yeah.
So we'll know.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so before we get out of here, Carlos asked real quick for a Lakers-Warriors prediction. It's been the weirdest series of all time, so I fully suspect the Warriors will win today by like 20. Not that I want them to. It's just been that kind of series where, like, if you do win, you win big. So I fully suspect, and no one wins 2 days in a row in this skate series for some reason. So I'm going to take the Warriors today, but I still think the Lakers win the series.
I'm going to go Warriors in 7, unless Draymond gets suspended for a nut tap, in which case Lakers in 7.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. All righty. Well, before we do get out of here, like we have to say each and every week here on Late Night Reds on the Riverfront, please, first off, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribing, take 2 seconds to click that button there in the corner. Helps us a lot there. Follow us on every podcast app of choice that you use, and also give us a nice solid 5-star review there as well. We definitely appreciate those. And hey, if you got a few extra bucks, join the Patreon. It's a lot of fun with us here at Late Night Reds and the Riverfront Bengals with good brothers Joe and Greg. Greg has literally been my friend since I was 10 years old, so to be working with him here is a lot of fun. And so, we have a lot of fun on the Patreon, the Slack group, a lot of great insight, a lot of different channels where you can kind of interact with different things as well. So we really love the support, and we're glad that we have you guys as always. So take a minute, come hang out with us there as well. We'd love to have you. And we're very accessible there as well. So, Nate, first off, as always, like I say, I'm always really glad to be part of the Riverfront. Thanks again for having me. And thanks for hanging on the show tonight, man.
Hey, we could not be luckier to have you and guys like Carlos, just the whole gang over there. Love to see it growing. Thanks for having me, man. There's like I said, best possible way to spend a Monday. So much fun.
That's right. We're back to our regular Sunday night show, barring my daughter throwing up on me 4 times again. But hopefully we'll be back on Sunday. So take it easy, everyone. Enjoy the week of games and go Reds.